So to ensure a safe and realistic simulation, we'll be closing down runway 1028 and taxiway Bravo, and the apron will be temporarily closed during the exercise. However, normal flight operations, including the commercial flight that's departing around 11:48 every day, it's our Minneapolis flight, that will not be affected. This is a training exercise only, and there is no danger to the public. So we appreciate the community's understanding as we work to enhance our safety and security at the airport. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other departmental updates? Seeing none, we will move down to unfinished business. The appointment to opioid task force, there's one opening. Is that, we still gonna table that one, or?
I don't feel the need to table it. We're going to have a discussion regarding the bylaws and the possible filling of that role under new business. Which number is it? Number 9, opioid task force review bylaws to fill the vacancy. So we could, after we review that, make an appointment at that time.
That works.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion
Yeah,
to
we
move it?
should
I'll make a
defer
motion
that
to
till
move
after.
unfinished business, item number 1, appointment to opioid task force to be under new business, item number 9, to follow the discussion.
Okay.
Support.
Can I get- All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Okay, new business. Number 1, payment of bills.
I have examined all claims presented and recommend payment of the following, and that the county clerk be directed to issue orders on the county treasurer to the claimants for the amounts allowed. We have total report of claims of $1,960,073.47. We also have jury expenses of $840.80.
Move to pay our bills?
Support.
Any discussion? I need a roll call.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes,
Van Genhoven,
Yes.
and Melner.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
I'm here, hello. Our bills are paid. Number 2, resignation of Jay Polishek, request for a lump sum payout and to fill custodian 1.
Yes, this would be in our maintenance department. We're just looking to fill that position and give him a letter of thanks.
I'd move that we accept the resignation of Jay Polishak and conduct the lump sum payout and post to fill the custodian 1 position and send a letter from the county.
Support?
All in favor?
Can I do discussion? I have a question. Wasn't this just a recently filled position?
Correct.
How long was the employment?
I believe it was approximately 2 months.
We have to do lump sum payout for,
Well, partial. Some
Okay.
things he qualifies for, some he does not.
okay, thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 3, out-of-county travel, UPACC conference.
Motion to approve out-of-county travel?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 4, airport grant contract and authorization, airport improvement program.
We do have our airport administrator here. If she'd like to come and comment.
So the first grant you see on your agenda tonight is 5/5/2025. This grant is allocated for the construction and acquisition phases of the following projects. We are purchasing a new snow removal equipment, a blower, and a carrier vehicle. Pavement markings for runway 1028 in taxiways Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, which will begin in spring, summer of 2026. And paving markings for the commercial and general aviation beginning construction spring of 2026.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 5. Let's see, airport grant contract and authorized airport infrastructure.
This is Grant 54, 2025. This is for the construction phases of the following projects: commercial apron reconstruction, reconstruction of our runway visual guidance systems for runway 119, PAPIs, beginning in sometime here this fall still. Reconstruction of the runway visual guidance system for runway 119, and it's the rails, for fall of 2026, and then the installation of the wildlife perimeter fencing, construction beginning spring, summer of 2026.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any discussion?
One thing, are we keeping the debris from the apron so we can use it as fill in other places in the county?
Yes, we are.
Excellent, thank you.
But I give out the departments about a year.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 6, Airport Capital Improvement Program, FY 2026 through 2028.
So I sat with our airport consultants, the chair of the Airport Advisory Board, and we discussed upcoming projects that are needed over at the airport. And we presented it to the advisory board, which they recommended. So for fiscal year 2026 projects, we're looking at doing the snow removal equipment building expansion. This, you've probably heard about it before in the past, and we decided to do the redesign just for room on backing up the large piece of equipment. There wasn't much clearance between the plow and the building. So this is different than normal grant requests. In order to design and construct within a year, we're asking the county to front $100,000 to cover the redesign of this facility. This previous design, like I mentioned, was inadequate for the operations. Now, this upfront cost will come reimbursed back to us at 97.5% upon completion of the project. So typically, we always wait for the funds to come in and then we start the project, but we just want to jumpstart to be able to get it done within a year. Also, this year, or in 2026, we're looking at replacing our aircraft rescue and firefighting suits. They're expiring. This is no change in the normal process for grant reporting. We're looking at rehab of taxiway Alpha. And this is a little bit different. To enable the construction phase to begin in 2028, we're requesting another front of $200,000 for the design costs. These funds will be reimbursed at 97.5% once the project is complete. Also proposed is a terminal study to be conducted. This has also been on the plate for many years. This project is estimated at a local cost of $125,000. If the FAA determines that this project is eligible, we will be reimbursed at 97.5%. But it depends on if the FAA determines it an eligible project. We will not know if it's eligible until after we have the study done. And then for 2027, if you approve the upfront cost design, we will apply for the construction phase of taxiway Alpha, and we'll also apply for the design phase for the terminal hold room expansion. That terminal study will determine if we need to expand our hold room and do any other improvements in the terminal. For fiscal year 2028, we'll apply for the construction phase of that terminal expansion and improvements. So in summary, because there was a lot of information there, this plan requests that the board approves a total of $425,000 in upfront costs. $300,000 of this amount will be reimbursed at 97.5%, while the remaining $125,000 may be reimbursed contingent on the FAA eligibility approval. Questions?
Yeah, I just have a question. I don't understand the 97.5%. Is that just some,
So we're required, our local batch is 2.5.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
I would
Get a
move it.
motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we accept the capital improvement plan for the airport for fiscal year 2026 through 2028.
Support.
Discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, no, you've been on.
I
record.
asked first, you go.
No, go.
Okay. So the 125, that is not known. So is that, the 125, that's for the actual study, or that's?
Correct.
Okay,
That's for
so-
the study.
Okay, and so the FAA has not, they've not approved that grant that would then give us that 125. And so if we actually go into this study and don't get that money, then the county's on the hook for that 125. And I think, did you mention that this is something that has been on the plate for,
Correct.
okay,
So back in 2022, it was originally brought to the board, a terminal study for 50,000. And then it was 75?
75,
And then it
yeah.
was increased to 125 a few months later.
okay. And do you recall back, that was, you said 2022?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's been a while. Do you recall, I mean, why haven't we, that just seems like a long time. Is it just turnover, and is it the stuff that, I mean, why hasn't that been moved forward since 2022?
I don't really want to speculate what other airport managers were going through at that time and, why that wasn't addressed.
What
at
do you,
that-
what do you think the likelihood is that it would be funded
That it would be funded?
through the FAA, yeah?
It depends on how great of a case we bring to the FAA. So there's a lot of reviewing the eligibility requirements and making sure that our project, I really don't have an answer. It would be a 50/50. Right now, the federal government is, well, that I've seen with the FAA, are really looking at the book, making sure that they're checking all those boxes, so.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things that came out in the last airport meeting as well is there's a whole series of checks that the FAA looks for as well. And the more of those that we can have incorporated into that for the terminal, the more likelihood of that reimbursement being.
Okay.
So with the 125, are we starting the study before we apply, or are we? How does that, like, most grants, it seems like if you start something without actually applying, they go, hey, you already spent that money and we're not going to help you with it.
So we'll bring this on the 29th of this month. I travel down to Gaylord and I present this plan over to the FAA. They'll give it its blessing, but that doesn't mean that they approve of the project.
Okay.
Because there's a lot more details that go into, but they could give us the blessing, know that it's happening, and they could turn around and say, we don't want this terminal study to be done. And then we wouldn't move forward with it at that time.
Okay,
Or have
kind
to
of
come
kind
to
of like
the
a
books.
prelim application where, okay,
Right.
okay.
Wait a minute, so I want to make sure I understand what you just said. So you're going to go down and present this, when did you say, in February?
No, the 29th of this month.
Oh, this month, okay, so the 29th of this month, and even though, if we were to approve this 125, and then you go down and present it, and you don't get a good feeling about that, then you're not going to do the terminal study?
Well, I'll come back and I'll talk to the advisory board and discuss what our next motives are, if I have those feelings, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we could potentially approve the capital improvement program without that 125 in there?
Yes.
And that could be an option, okay.
What's the benefit if we do approve it as opposed to if we don't approve it right now?
That I can go and present this as a plan that I have the support of the commissioners to the FAA.
Okay.
If I don't have support of the commissioners, the FAA won't even look.
Yeah,
Well, if you
Okay.
have, I mean, there's a difference between having financial support and having support. Like, we could write a letter of support without putting the money behind it, correct?
Sure.
You could.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the only thing I can say, to Commissioner Williams' question about earlier about why, it's been on hold this long, we have to remember that we had Ms. Young as our, interim, and then we hired Mr. Ranstatler, who, was very focused on getting caught up on a lot of things that hadn't been done over the last decade, and paperwork and getting us back on the straight and narrow. And then he left and Ms. Young took back over while she was still the administrator, so I can see why, these things haven't moved forward. But I think she's doing a good job pushing these items along with our board chair, Brian Hero. My only question is, do you feel that these projects are feasible for you to accomplish, and do you feel comfortable accomplishing them being so new in your role? Because I know when we discussed your hire, that we weren't expecting you to do any massive, things of this nature until you felt completely comfortable in your role, which I thought we had decided was going to be 1.5 to 2 years. But you feel comfortable taking this on in your role with having to, do your assistant manager, train and all that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So I talked to Mead and Hunt and just had just a personal call about the grant process and understanding all that. So I do feel confident we'll be able to get these done.
Excellent, thank you.
I think last question for me, does the airport's budget have $125,000 to cover this cost if this grant does not come through?
So I believe there's 75,000 budgeted for this project specifically. The remaining 50,000 would come from our fund balance,
From your fund balance, the airport's fund balance?
the airport.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 7, Airport RFQ Professional Engineering Services.
This is a recommendation from the advisory board for the proposed RFQ. This is involving that SRE building expansion. The required steps for this project is that we have to put an RFQ out for airport consultants. Even though we do have some that we've already retained, this project wasn't a part of that original RFQ. So now we have to go back out, post normal RFQ procedures. You'll see that the timeline is set for bids to be submitted and opened by October 1st at 2 p.m. at the airport. And then the advisory board will review those and send a recommendation forward.
Why is this called a request for qualifications and not a request for proposal?
That is according to the FAA guidelines.
They specify it's a request for qualifications? It's just interesting because the way that the county defines a request for qualifications in their process, in their policy, it's different than what this is basically saying, so, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Move approval of the RFQ.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Number 8, Opioid Task Force, FY 26 Grant Application Review and Recommendations.
Commissioner Van Genhoven, do you want me to present on that, or do you want to present on the, I mean, just to explain it, I guess. No, that's okay. I didn't want to start talking and then.
No, go ahead, Emily, you're fine.
So the opioid task force met I believe it was last Friday morning, went over, they received 4 applications for the, through the grant, excuse me, through the grant process. They each rated them, ranked them as far as importance that they believed in meeting the qualifications of the applications and the requirements, and ended up making motions to put them forward to the full Board of Commissioners to approve each of the applications as presented, with one of them that you'll see in the minutes from the opioid task force, just needing, they recommended approval, but there does need to be budget work done to it because they had explained in their application and asked for a range. So we just want to make sure that they tighten that up for us when the final agreement is signed, that we have an actual dollar amount that they're requesting and it fits into their budget.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Can I get support?
Support.
Any discussion?
Yes, I would just like for public to be aware, the awardees will be the 94th District Court for $30,000, Great Lakes Recovery Center for $29,975, Escanaba Area Public Schools for $30,000, and Escanaba Student Success Center up to $8,847. We had 4 applicants. There are no denials this round.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask real quick, I remember going through all the paperwork, but I don't remember all the numbers. Are these the actual numbers that they requested?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
With the last one being the top dollar
Yeah.
amount that they requested.
Yeah, I remember that range, okay.
Got a motion, second, and lost it. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion pass. Number 9, opioid task force, review bylaws to fill vacancy.
So this was because we've had a vacancy on the seat, and you'll remember with the opioid task force, we tried to fill the positions based on a category that was recommended to the task force to have a representation of agencies and players involved. And right now, we're having trouble filling the seat for the treatment provider aspect of it, but we do have one current board member who could fill that role as well. So the task force looked at their bylaws to see if that's something that's within their power to do, to move that, that board member over to that position. And there's nothing in their bylaws that gives them the authority to do it or not the authority to do it. It's just not addressed. So really, it's up to the board's decision if they would like to move that individual over. My recommendation, if they do so, would be to keep their expiration date for their seat with them, because right now, the task force was set up with staggered expiration dates, and that way we don't limit that board member's time on the board.
Okay. Let's,
I don't think we need a motion or anything for that, we would just do it,
Yeah,
and
we can
then,
just make the appointment.
Okay.
Basically, it's our job to fill the vacancies. We kicked it back to the opioid task force to review their bylaws to see if there were any issues. There are no issues, so now it comes back to us to say, yes, we'll just shift that one person, leaving the one vacancy, and then we can fill the vacancy. With the one person being shifted over, what does the vacancy allow for now as far as stipulations?
So it allows for a nonprofit or community service individual.
Okay.
So you just have to look at we received 2 applications. You just have to review those applications, make sure they meet that requirement, and then you can vote on filling that.
Okay, so we'll just do that now then. Okay, so
Yeah.
under old business, just look at the applications real quick.
it looks like one of the applicants, I'm sorry, what was the requirement again?
It was
Service?
a nonprofit or community service.
Okay, gotcha. I would make a motion to appoint Whitney Maloney to the opioid task force board, or opioid task force, I guess.
Support.
Any discussion?
Just reading through her application, this is, I believe it's current, correct, with the Child Advocacy Center? Is she current there? Does anybody know? Or with Youth
Correct.
Empowering
I
Services?
was assuming that.
Correct.
Okay, because
Yeah.
the other applicant said my past experience in this one, I was assuming, but I just wanted to just double check.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay.
And that would be why I would kind of favor her a little bit more than the other one, because this is current. The other one was past affiliations.
Okay. We got a motion, we got support. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I have to
Motion-
abstain
Oh.
due to the fact that I work for her.
Okay. Motion passed. Okay, let's see here. Number 10, opioid task force RFP application proposed for changes.
It was discussed at the task force meeting to make some additions to the current application. There was one application that was asking for funding partially from the task force and then partially going to be funding it with another source, but it wasn't specific on the application as to where that money would come from. So some of the task force members were saying, that'd be really good information to include on the application, that if they have a large project and we're funding part of it, where are they coming up with the other part of the funds then for the project, and can they complete the project even if they don't get those funds? Just some follow-up questions on there. So that was one change that the task force felt was needed for the application.
And I would just like to add under the meeting minutes from the opioid task force, I apologize. The motion was made by Kelly and was supported by Howes. That's why these are draft minutes. I reviewed them this afternoon and I was like, oh no, I forgot to put in the motion and the support. So I apologize for that.
I would move that we accept the RFP application proposal for changes.
Support.
Any discussion?
Great changes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 11, ratified bid award, paving at the service center, Payne and Dolan.
So that was from the RFP that the board saw a few meetings ago for the pavement that was requested from our maintenance director around the jail, behind the service center, with our storage buildings that we have. This is outside of the normal process that we normally do this. Normally, we would bring this to the board, it would get ratified, and then we would award the bid to that company or agency. We only received one bid. This was the only one that we received that met the qualifications. We did have one bid that was partially submitted but then withdrawn, so we couldn't count that bid. The company that we went with was a company that we've worked with before, and they were on a project at the moment that was close by to move their equipment, but they also had another larger project that they were starting in 2 weeks, so they wanted to fit us in that window. Otherwise, they would have had to withdraw their bid and they wouldn't have been able to do it. So we did act on that, and they already actually have started and begun the process and are on their way to finishing it. These are ARPA dollars that are funding it, so we have a time frame as well to use those dollars, and we wanted to get it in before that ran out.
Motion to ratify.
Support.
Any discussion?
Just quick question. So if we had had multiple bids, would this process have gone differently?
Correct.
Okay, so it's because we had the one bid and we knew we were going to go with that contractor because it's the one bid.
Correct. If
Modified
there
the
was
process.
multiple things in my decision to do it that way, and that was the biggest one, because if there would have been multiple bids on it, we definitely would have had to follow that process and would have, had to bring it to the board, and the board would have chosen. I wouldn't have unilaterally made that decision.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more. And I assume you consulted the board chair?
I did.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 12, dispatch supervisor job description.
This job description was brought to the Personnel Committee. This was in the follow-up to the 3 letters of agreement that we had brought to the board at the last meeting. Our deputy director is going to be moving and was appointed by our director into the dispatch supervisor position. She did attend the personnel committee meeting, had a few updates and good recommendations to change the language, so there wasn't any conflict because this new position is going to be a union position. And so you'll see in front of you the job description that she approved and the personnel committee had approved for recommendation.
Okay, gonna get a-
Motion to approve the job description for dispatch supervisor.
Support.
Any discussion?
Just a quick one. Under essential duties and responsibilities, it says oversight of CTO, but I don't see CTO defined anywhere. What's CTO?
So CTO is their training officer.
Okay.
So any new employee coming on this position would oversee that to make sure that they have the proper training, certifications are completed, and the hours that they are required are put in.
Okay. It's just, there's no definition for this acronym.
Okay.
But it's put in there, so, okay.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Would you like it amended to say, to have a definition? No?
No, I just think that it's just something to think about when we're putting stuff together that
Sure.
we do. I'm not worried about this one, but
Okay.
I just, it's good practice to define an acronym before it's used,
Sure.
so.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I wouldn't have asked a question if it was, right?
Motion passed. Number 13, FOIA appeal, number 25-195. We can get our prosecutor up to have her just.
Evening.
Evening. Do we have any questions?
I will ask a question. I typically have a question. So I read through, I understand the partial denial, it makes sense. One of the things that I am concerned about is the idea that you have to go through and review 20, I think it was 2,400 cases, 2,400 case files and so forth. And really what I just want to reiterate is, and I said this I think at the last meeting too, the database is an SQL database, so it's a relational database, so it can be queried. It's very easily queried. And I just want to make it known that you can put together an SQL script which would query your database, and that script could include redaction for FOIA purposes, so it would sort of automatically do the redactions for you. And you may not be doing this and using this, but I just want you to know that it's available to you, and you can do it to try to reduce hours of work necessary.
We can't contractually.
What you can't contractually what?
The contract for Carpel does not allow us to add script to this program.
Well, you're not adding a script, you're running a script against the database to query it. I talked to your support group and they're the ones who actually said this is what you should be doing. So my point is, it's your database, you own the data, so you can query the data.
Correct.
You can query the data all day long.
But to
Nobody
run
can-
an additional script, that's what, I have no idea how to do that,
I know that, I understand that.
but I'm also not required to.
I understand that. I'm saying that it is available to you. It's much more readily accessible to the data than it is having a human being doing all this work. So it would just take a matter of either paying Carpel, which I think they said it was $1,000, so it'd be $1,000 to write the script, but then you have that script forever and you can use it. But they also said if it already exists, that they would give it to you for free as long as the other prosecuting attorney's office is willing to give it up. And they said they have lots of scripts available. So my point is, I just want you to know that these other resources are available to you, and it doesn't have to be human beings doing all of this work, but it does look like you put a dollar amount on it, which is probably your lowest paid
It is.
employee, so it feels accurate there. But there are ways in which I think you can get to this data and provide this data more cost-effectively. So, thank you.
Any other questions?
So are we looking to accept the FOIA appeal?
No,
We're
this
looking
is,
to-
no, we accepted it at the last meeting, so this would be upholding the denial.
I
the
don't believe
partial
you've
denial.
accepted this one yet.
We haven't accepted this one.
No.
This is a new appeal.
Oh.
So we would have to, I mean, you can make a motion and vote on it tonight too, but you just have to accept it, and then if you would like to make a motion, you can tonight.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep.
Sorry about that, I thought it was one that we accepted last week, or last meeting. There's a lot of them, yeah.
So I'll start by making a motion to accept.
Support.
Any discussion? Favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed.
And then I'll make a motion to uphold the partial denial.
I'll support.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does that have to be a
Oh,
roll call?
That's a
roll
roll
call
call.
on this? Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Vangenhoven,
No.
Jensen,
Yes.
Melner,
Yes.
and Johnson.
Yes.
I would say that I think a motion also should be made because there's a appeal of the processing fee, not just of the denial. That should be a separate motion. So
Motion.
we're clean.
So motion to accept the processing fee?
I get support?
Yeah, I'll support.
Okay. No. Let's do another roll call then.
Okay. Vangenhoven,
No.
Jensen,
Yes.
Melner,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Williams.
No.
Okay. Motion passed. Number 14, 2025 winter tax rate.
I looked in the board packet and it just had the minutes. Did everybody see the actual rate for the winter?
It was in the motion. I thought it was in the motion.
For that was the summer. That's what I saw at
Oh.
least. I just want to make sure you know what the winter tax rate is before you accept it and vote on it. I didn't have it in my packet, but I just want to make sure you all see it before you vote on it.
And what is it?
So it is 3.8508. The winter tax rate includes, and I have the form right here. So you're talking about the law enforcement millage, community action agency, 911, recycling, veterans affair, and the jail bond. And we did just have our jail bond recalculated as well, so it is current and up to date.
And I'm sorry, could you give me the number again?
The total is 3.8508.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the winter tax rate.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 15, changes to recommended budget.
So you see, I sent over a couple different reports for you. There are two reports that are of main focus for tonight. So these are the exact line item changes from the budget that was presented to you and to the public at the last meeting for the public hearing, and then changes that were made to them. So I'll just go through quickly. There weren't many. It looks like a lot, but it's because Andrea, our controller, actually spent a lot of time since her hire. I think the first day, it was the first thing we had her do, was update our salaries and fringe spreadsheet with current calculations. It hadn't been updated since 2022. And so she went through and diligently got all of the rates for fiscal year '26, entered them all in the formulas for every position, and now we have accurate salaries and fringes for every position, split up between departments. You know, we have some employees who work, maintenance is a good example. They are charged off to the service center sometimes to the airport. So now all of that is clean. She cleaned that up, and it was a huge thing that I'm very grateful that she did, because now I feel like we're a lot more accurate in our budget when it comes to our salaries and fringes. So you'll see a lot of those line items for the changes pertain to that. So it looks like a lot of changes, but they were all just due to the salary changes. The other changes that you'll see, our clerk here had requested to increase the printing because of the early voting. So we did increase her printing line item for that, so that we're not over in that budget line item for her. I did also get a request from Building and Zoning regarding transferring over the allocation for the master plan that was done in fiscal year '25. I did not account for that, so I did put that in then for fiscal year '26, so they have that information. She gave me more accurate information on the Planning Commission and their reimbursements for meetings and publications, so I adjusted those line items for her as well. And the travel line item as well for the per diems for Planning Commission. So those changes are in there. And the last change I received was from probate court. It looks as though in their general fund, they are doing a little bit different of a program for their intensive probation. And so the last few years, they've only spent about $500 in incentives, and she said they're revamping that, and so they were requesting $5,000 to be able to do and meet the program requirements that they have for that. So we increased that for their budget. We also accounted for 2 scanners because they are going to be one of the first courts that goes on the MyFile system. And so they're both going to need scanners at their desks for that. So we requested increasing their office supply line item to include the cost of those 2 scanners in there, so we're not having to do budget amendment later on. There is going to be some budget amendments that we don't have the information on right now that we're going to have in the future regarding salary costs for the child care fund. They've had a lot of movement going around in probate court. So we've had 2 recent retirements, and those salaries were out of the child care fund, they're not looking at filling one of those positions. So we probably will have to move around some of our money in fiscal year '26 regarding that, just for line items, for the salary line items. They also moved one of their employees, a different employee, taken off of the basic grant that they receive and then put a different employee in there. So there's just a little inter-office movement that we'll probably have throughout the year to adjust for, but nothing that will need to come back to the board. It'll all be just in their funds for the child care fund.
Okay. Can I get motions on changing the recommended budget?
I'll make a motion to accept the recommended changes to the budget for fiscal year '26.
I'll support.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 16, budgetary motions. Now,
Historically, we do those motions all at one time, but I know we do have new commissioners on the board, so I'll leave it to you all as far as if you'd like to go through them one by one, or if you need any explanation on any of them, or how you would like to handle them. But they are all a package that gets done. It allows me to clean up budget for fiscal year '25. It approves budget amendments that were made in fiscal year '25. Ratifies some of our policies, and then also approves fiscal year '26 budget.
I would request we go through them individually, since I have comments on about 4 or 5 of them, so.
Make the motion to authorize the administrator to transfer budget line items in order to balance the budget within the guidelines as adopted or to comply with state and federal statutes.
Support.
okay, anybody opposed?
Discussion.
Oh,
Discussion.
no discussion. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed.
You just want me to keep going?
Yeah, it's F where I first.
B,
Okay, B, I'll make the motion to authorize the administrator to handle other year-end and housekeeping items.
Support.
any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Number C.
I'll make the motion that we authorize the administrator to update the county's chart of accounts to comply with the state of Michigan's uniform chart of accounts.
I'll support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have just a question. What are typical things that you need to change with the chart of accounts?
So a couple years ago, well, a few years ago now, it was right before I left, I believe in 2021, 22, they totally revamped the chart of accounts. So instead of having to bring that back to the board, it just allowed us in administration to amend our chart of accounts so that they are reflective of the requirement. So in case there's any requirements that come up that we have to change them, it changed all of the department numbers around for a
Okay.
chart of accounts.
All right.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. D.
Make the motion to approve the budget amendments as presented and authorize the administrator to make any additional amendments to confirm with the Uniform Budgeting Act.
Support?
Oh, good, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll support.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. Did we vote on that? No. Okay. Yeah, I have a question about the additional amendments. What additional amendments would you make?
So if there's any amendments between now and September 30th, so you have in your packet all the budget amendments, but if there's any additional amendments that I have to make sure that we're not over budgeted in any line items, this gives me the authority to make those budget amendments.
Yeah, that's, I think, what is just interesting to me is, so you can make any adjustment that you want, or need, not want, but need.
But there's a checks and balance with it too. So Sherry in the treasurer's office and myself, every month print out the budget amendments and we have to review each other's in each other's office and then sign off on them and approve them. So it's not that I can just go in and make adjustments. And I have, if there are adjustments, a budget adjustment would just be within a department.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
moving money between different funds.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. E.
Make the motion to adopt the 25-26 budget as amended to reflect the board actions taken at the 9/16/25 board meeting.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. F.
Make the motion to adopt, have the adoption of the 25-26 general budget resolution as presented with amendments to reflect board action taken at the 9/16/25 meeting.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so on that resolution, when I look through it, there's two things. One is, actually three things. In the first paragraph, it says year 25-26, but it doesn't actually specify the fiscal year. Is that normal that we don't put in the fiscal year and then put in October 1 to September, or to 9/30?
On the budget resolution?
Yeah.
Yes, it's never had a year attached to it, it's just the budget resolution
Okay.
itself.
Okay, and then in the second paragraph, it says Director of Administration and Finance. Is that you?
That would be me, that's
So
an
it should say,
old title.
it should say County Administrator.
Correct.
I'd like to change that so it says County Administrator. And then lastly, under the fourth paragraph, it says, meetings qualifying for per diem compensation held at locations not in Michigan's Upper Peninsula shall be limited and shall not exceed 12 days in a calendar year. Is that in conflict with our policy about out-of-town travel? Or are we needing to cap things at 12 days?
That I can't answer, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think I've reviewed the new one because I believe your board enacted a new policy for that and I haven't reviewed it, so
Well,
I
if-
don't know if it's in conflict or not.
I don't think it's in conflict. There's no conflict. It just says that if we accept this resolution, that we are not or Michigan's Upper Peninsula travel outside of it shall be limited and shall not exceed 12 days in the calendar year. So all I want to say is, if we accept this as it is, y'all folks who travel out of the UP, you can't do more than 12 days. in the calendar year. So I just want to make sure that we're clear that that's what we're adopting here.
And that's for per diem? Does it
It
say
says the
specifically?
number, it says the number of, and it says meets, not meetings, by the way, meets qualifying for per diem compensation held in Michigan's Upper Peninsula shall be unlimited, but outside it caps it at 12.
Right, correct. So it's just any meetings outside of Michigan that you're requesting per diem for approval, board approval? Because I think your policy now is
Pardon me?
board approval for that and then requesting per
Michigan as
diem.
well.
That,
Michigan's Upper
that would,
Yeah.
It says
I-
Michigan's Upper Peninsula, not
Yeah.
that.
Correct.
So if we were to go downstate, that would fall into that 12 calendar.
Yes.
yes.
Correct.
So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. We don't have a limit, we don't limit it in our policy right now, but we're limiting it in this resolution. So if we're okay with that, we can accept the resolution, but we're limiting it.
Well,
That-
then we're
that-
kind of, but then we're contradicting ourselves versus the policy versus the resolution, so it's gotta be one way or the other.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
if we accept the resolution, which we can do, y'all can't take more than 12 days, that's all. If you want to take more than 12 days, then you shouldn't be accepting this resolution,
Well,
or you
and
should
this
be
is-
modifying
And
it.
this has been the same resolution that's been passed every year, so anybody who took 12 or more days, more than 12 days, what happens then?
Well, it would just depend on which ones they're requesting for per diem. Some of them are paid for, some of them aren't, so you'd have to calculate to see if anybody took more than 12. If-
Interesting. Okay,
And it would be close for me, I would think.
well, you're the only one.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, if you do the math, work comp is covered, NACO is covered, isn't it?
Well, but he
No.
charges the county for hours on those.
Per diem.
per
Yeah,
diem.
it's per diem compensation.
Yeah, but
Everything
not for
else
work
is
comp, he
covered.
doesn't charge hours for.
Oh, no, but MAC board and NACO.
MAC and NAC, yeah.
I mean, how many times did you go to MAC board last year? And NACO,
NACO twice this year.
right, for how many days each time though, that you charge the county?
3.
So
3,
that's
I
6
think.
right there.
Yeah.
Because you went twice and then plus
And
all
then
your
the
MAC
MAC.
boards.
Yeah. It would have to go more.
Well, either that or you just don't get compensated for more than 12.
Yeah.
So I would just suggest that unless somebody else wants to make a change, I do think that we have to change the Director of Administration and Finance to County Administrator.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, how many meetings do you, or how many days would you need?
The MAC board, the conferences downstate, and the 2 NACO. I think if we raised it to 15, that would be covered.
I would make, or I'd make, well, we already have a motion, or do we have a motion yet?
Yeah, we have a
To
motion.
accept it.
But we have to
No.
change.
I read it.
We
I
have
know
to
that.
change it already because of the,
I read it and there was support and this is discussion, so then you would ask me to amend my motion.
Yeah, I would, well, or I'd say, it, or if you didn't want to amend it, then we would just vote how we wanted to and then remake a motion.
It's also confusing to me. I'm gonna rescind my motion.
Okay,
Sorry.
then,
And I'll rescind the support.
then I would make a motion that we accept the new amendment of, what was that, the fiscal year, or the job title, and change it from 12 to 15 days.
I'll support.
okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
No, we gotta do a roll call, it's a resolution.
Oh,
Yep. Jensen,
Yes.
Melner,
yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Williams,
Yes,
and Van Genhoven.
Yes.
Okay. G,
Good, okay.
Okay, I'll just keep going. Move to adopt, move for the adoption of the 2025-26 budget resolution as presented with amendments to reflect board action taken at the 9/16/25 meeting.
Support. Any discussion?
Yes, I have comments on this one. So in item number 6, it says, "The county board recognized the need of the following duly elected and appointed supervisors to properly administer their statutory duties as supervisory personnel of the county, to wit." And then it has a list. And I looked back on several of them, and the list has changed over time. My question is, there are positions on here that are not duly elected and are not appointed, but yet are on this list. We hire them. So I think we either need to change the language of 6 so that it reflects what these positions are, or we take off positions that are not either duly elected and appointed. I'm not sure what you want to do, but county administrator is not appointed or elected. There's another one, zoning and building administrator is not elected or appointed, so they shouldn't be on the list.
Medical examiner as well.
Yep, so I guess my question is, how do we want to fix this, because it's not accurate? In the past, too, it's interesting, there's a lot of other positions that have been removed, like MSU Extension Director, Veterans Affair, or Veterans Officer, Airport and Parks Manager, which used to be a combined position, Director of Maintenance and Custodians. So I don't know what the history is here, but
So with the language that's in there right now, I believe like the building and zoning administrator is put in there because they have statutory requirements with their job. So I think it makes, this is my opinion, but I think it makes more sense maybe to change the, where it says duly elected and appointed, maybe to update that to reflect the positions that are on the list, because all of those positions do fit what the language says about either being elected or have statutory requirements attached to them, that sort of thing.
yeah, to administer their statutory duties, but the administer their statutory duties is connected to duly elected and appointed supervisors. And so
Correct.
I think what we could do then is say, the county board recognized the need of the following duly elected, comma, appointed supervisors, comma, and or statutorily positions, or positions with statutory duties, or something like that.
Correct, that's, yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant by that.
Okay. If we do that, are there other positions that have statutory requirements? Are there any other positions? Like it has, we have the medical examiner and medical director. Is that not the case anymore?
We just have, well, we have our ME and then we also have a deputy ME. So I'm assuming that's what the medical director position is, but that would be, need to be updated
So that
to
would need to be
reflect
added
the
to that.
title.
Okay. So with that change, we would need to add medical director. And is it veterans? Are we statutorily required to have that position?
We're not statutorily required, but he does operate under certain laws for soldiers and sailors relief, those types of things. So he has statutory limitations
So
to
maybe that-
operate, so that it might not be a bad idea. That would be our VSO director position.
So VSO director. And what about MSU extension director? That used to be on the list.
We used to employ that department, so I'm assuming they're on there due to that. We no longer
Okay.
do, it's just an appropriation for them
Okay.
now.
And then airport.
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, our airport manager does have to operate under FAA, federal laws.
It used to be on the list.
I can see where it was because of that. I don't know the reasoning why it was taken off. To know if there was other information that was given, that I don't know.
Well, I think they have to administer their statutory duties, right? So they have
Correct.
statutory duties, so I would say that the airport manager is probably one that should be on the list.
Yeah, it would be the same reasoning as the VSO director then.
Right, and then I think the last one would be parks manager. Do they have statutory requirements?
There is a law that it's attached to the Parks Commission. But I don't think that any of that language includes the parks manager.
Okay,
So
I don't think it
wouldn't-
does either.
I wouldn't think that they would qualify for that.
okay. And then director of maintenance and custodian, that used to be on there. Do they have any statutory requirements?
The only thing I can think of is that they need to comply with local law for a permit type of thing, but as far as their job duties, I don't see that any statutes that they're required to act under in a normal day.
So the reason why we're seeing building and zoning is because they actually have MCL, I mean, they have law associated with their position.
Correct.
Okay, I think that covers it for me then, as long as those, we add those jobs back on that have statutory duties. Then I think the rest of it, and change the language, then it would make sense, so.
I'll amend my motion.
And then on 13 and 14, it specifically states that we will not be changing our policy regarding copying costs and our policy regarding postage. But I don't know of any policies that
I
we have
could
for
not
those.
find any.
Okay, so can we strike 13 and 14? And then on 16, it states, last sentence, no more than 5,000 or 10% of the department budget, whichever is less. So it's basically allowing the county administrator or the finance committee, they're granting authority, this resolution grants them the authority to transfer amounts within and between departmental and contingency budgets in accordance with parameters established by the board, not to exceed 5,000 or 10% of the budget. That, I just want to make sure we're all aware of that.
Yeah, anything
That's
over
normal.
that is brought to the finance committee.
Okay. All right, and then lastly, number 18, it says the board wishes not to change its policy regarding physicals for new hires. Do we have a policy on physicals of new hires?
We only have our pre-employment policy. So it just states that a new employee coming in has to have a physical, comply with that requirement in
Okay.
order to be hired.
And so that policy is called what?
It's our pre-employment
Okay,
policy.
So we should probably change 18 to just say pre-employment policy. I think we have all those things would be corrected.
Since it was changed, you want to amend your motion again?
I'll amend it again.
You've got those, Emily? Yeah?
Yeah, and I can
Okay.
listen to the recording if I need to.
I'll amend my second.
I'll give you the thing too. Okay.
Do we have support?
I was going to say.
Patrick.
Patrick
Patrick.
did, yep.
Okay. Any more discussion? Roll call?
Melner.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes?
Van Genhoven.
Yes.
And Jensen.
Yes.
Motion to recess for a 5-minute comfort break.
Aye.
Do we have support?
Support.
I'll support. Aye.
All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
I'm going to stand up though.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, the flight goes out at like 5:30 in the morning. All depends, I'm just hoping the fog stays away. Because then fog every morning, and if the fog rolls in, they take off on time. And they're expected to come back much later tomorrow night than they usually are because there's a conflict with another airline, another flight coming in when they're normally scheduled.
Oh, I got you.
So now they're not scheduled to come back until like 10 o'clock already, so. Means they might be on time.
Right.
But, I'm just hoping that, like I said, the fog stays away tomorrow, so
I know.
everything can launch out okay. Yeah, that's my day is Friday too. Yeah, that's Friday. Over at the, Veterans Memorial, right there in Ludington Park. Okay. We have a little ceremony over there. 4 o'clock on Friday. We do it every year. There's maybe 20 people that are there, but it's one of those, doing the ceremony. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Usually don't stick around to the end for public comment. Do I just come up for public comment at the end?
Yeah, he'll announce it, the chair will announce it, and then you can come right up here and you get 3 minutes.
Yep, got it. I already got it written out.
You're on a long meeting tonight.
No, I don't have to work tomorrow, I'm good.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
On this next one. Just missing things.
Grammatical like that, I mean, you can just. Right, if you want to make a motion, have it just input it. So, I guess, but it doesn't change the content. You don't have to. Right, yep.
This one, because it's missing
Sorry.
Just what is going on?
I dropped my cap on my head.
Again, let me amend it again, thank you.
Right, yeah.
To show the changes that were made so that it's.
Somebody else is gonna have to take over from here on out.
Oh, you got it, you're almost there. Motion to come out of recess?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see here. Did we do H, adoption?
No.
No, okay. Okay, H, adoption of the 2025-26 purchase procurement policy as presented. Need a motion.
Move adoption.
Or,
Discussion?
Yes. And, you know, I apologize that this takes time, but these things have been passed, these problems or issues have been passed for just a long time, and they need to be cleaned up. So I thank you for bearing with me here. Under authority, so 3B, it has in the absence of chief financial officer, one of the following in this order shall serve as chief fiscal officer. We have a controller. I would like to suggest that the controller be the first on the list to take over, and then the treasurer, and then the finance chair. That would be my suggestion, rather than finance chair, board chair, and then the treasurer.
I would amend my motion.
I think that's a good order, that it keeps the people who have the most knowledge of it in that order.
do we know why it was made this way versus what you're recommending?
I have no idea, no.
We didn't have a controller before, I mean, for the period of time when this last was done, so that would make sense why that wasn't included in it.
Can you say the order again? Controller?
Controller, then the treasurer,
Treasurer.
then the chair of the finance committee. I have a question here, why this order, but I wasn't able to find anything, so. And then the next is just a question under 4 Procedure A1. What is Delta County funded units? What's the definition of a funded unit?
So you're still on the procurement policy?
Yep.
It's 4A1. Procedure, application, and then item number 1.
So I read that as being any of our funded units within our budget. So we do have some component units that are in our budget, so landfill would be one of them.
Gotcha.
Does not include, because we don't oversee their policies.
Okay.
So it would not include the component units.
Okay,
So it's just
so-
our county-funded units.
Okay, thank you. Let's see here. On, number is this? So I guess it would be C standards for procurement. Item B, it's, I would suggest that say purchases greater than 3,500 and less than 15,000. The way that it reads right now, there's overlap of 3,500 and 15,000 from the lesser amount and the greater amount, and there really should never be an overlap. So if it's $14,999.99, it falls under B. If it's 15,000, it falls under C. Does that make sense?
Instead of being 15,000 B and C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just a really simple change, but it really should say greater than 3,500 and less than 15,000.
Amend that in my motion as well.
Who supported? I don't know who
I don't
supported.
remember me.
Well, I mean, if you
Yeah,
keep
it was
going, we could
Kelly.
just,
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
Kelly.
Are you going?
I just wasn't sure what we're
Okay.
doing here, so. Okay, and then under C1, C4, bid opening procedure, I would suggest that we remove the language, it says sealed bids shall be submitted as stated in the notice. And I would say at that point, we say period, instead of it saying and shall be identified as bids on the envelope. Because this doesn't allow for us to have bids submitted electronically because we're requiring them to come in an envelope. And instead, just add the language, bids submitted electronically will be held in repository until the time of the bid opening. So it allows for electronic submission of bids.
also amend in the motion.
Under item 2, under purchase orders, so this is under the same, no, it's not, it's under number 2, so this would be, God, I'm gonna suggest we put page numbers on these things too. Where is it? Here it is. It says the county, it's under purchase orders, the county will issue a purchase order in a form approved by administrative assistant to a vendor prior to the order of all. Who's the administrative assistant that issues the purchase order form?
Tracy.
Tracy would be, it would be that position, so the administrative assistant, board secretary.
Okay, all right. There's, under blanket purchase orders, there's a sentence that says blanket purchase orders cannot be issued in excess of, and there's a dollar sign, but no dollar amount. What is that amount?
I don't know the answer to that.
So I would suggest we make sure that we look up in our policy what that blanket order amount is and then fix this with whatever that amount is whatever the most recent blanket PO number. Actually, I don't know if we have it. Do we have a blanket PO policy or just a PO policy?
I don't know if that's included. And I'm trying to think, I don't know if I've ever seen a blanket PO. Have
Okay.
you? I don't think I ever have.
Well, maybe we should just come up with a number then. So under the purchase order, it's $1,000. You could put under the blanket, or, I mean, you just shouldn't have a number there with no, or a dollar sign with no number and saying that, you know, we have to fall within that. So I would make the motion that, or make the suggestion that we just make it $1,000 and it could be the same. I don't know if that's gonna cause anybody problems or not, but it would be the same as the purchase orders then.
Again, I'll amend the motion.
And support.
So we'll put 1,000. I just want to verify the county's travel and expenses policy, is that the correct name? Reimbursement of travel and expenses?
Yes,
It is called the travel and expenses policy?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Oh, so this might be a big one. So under the types of purchases that do not require a purchase order, the last bullet says any other payment as agreed by the administrator. I don't understand what the word agreed means there, but then also, can you give me an example of something that would fall under that? I mean, I don't understand what that means. Any other payment as agreed by the administrator.
I mean, I couldn't think of anything else other than maybe like contracted, like a contract that we're in and a quarterly or monthly payment that we have to give to them. That would be something that wouldn't fall under like, we wouldn't do a purchase policy because that's in a contract, so we're already agreeing to pay that. It's already been approved by the board for
Yeah,
that
'cause
dollar amount.
It
you
seems like
know?
we pay most of our bills with purchase orders. From this list, that's what it looks like. With this exception of any other payment as agreed by the administrator.
I mean, I can only assume it was put in there just to catch anything that, you know, may not fall in the other categories.
Okay, all right.
But-
Just, it's very odd language.
I wanted, before we get too far along, I wanted to back up real quick, where we looked at 1,000 on the blanket purchase orders. If you go further along in that paragraph, I'm wondering if 1,000 is gonna be sufficient, because the way it reads, once that dollar limit on a blanket order is reached, no further release can be made unless the change order has been processed to increase that dollar amount.
Yeah, I know.
But that change order can't change what the original actually was. So it's, I mean, you would hit it and then what?
Hence my comment that I didn't know if I was creating a problem for anybody, but, you know, it's, you can't have a statement that can't be in excess of something when there's nothing there, so.
Right, no, I was-
Either we, I mean, we can move it to like 5,000, and then that allows, I mean, typically blanket orders, blanket purchase orders, you're using them because, you know, you have you've got a vendor that you just buy stuff all the time, and so, like, I can think of like Cloverland, you know, you're buying supplies from them all the time, so you just say, all right, you got $20,000 that's, you know, sitting there for you, and then you're basically ordering against it, you
Right.
know? So I can understand us using blanket orders, but I don't know what the dollar amount should be.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was-
and I can't, off the top of my head, I can't even think of a blanket order that we have, a blanket purchase order. Even
Well,
in the
yeah.
example you gave, I don't believe that we have a blanket purchase order for that.
Well, I would say that we leave it at 1,000 then, and if we have to come back and ratify it, we can ratify it if you find that there's something totally off by that. You know, at least then we'll know. Okay, let's see. And under number 5, centralized invoice payment, it talks about invoices will be processed centrally through, and I think it should just say the accounts payable, period, or accounts payable upon approval by the constituent agency. I don't know why it needs to say accounts payable accountant of the administration department. Just clean that up. But then there's this second statement that talks about in compliance with the county's disbursement systems memo. What is the county's disbursement systems memo? And that apparently was approved on January 1, 2012. Who
I
was
mean, the
around
only
then?
thing I can think of is that they're referring to BSNA.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense.
Okay. Okay, so then the last, I think the last couple here is just under, last page, number 2, request for quote, so RFQ. There's a contradiction in the second, or I mean, the last sentence. It says the RFQ solicits pricing information from several sources with award to the lowest price meeting specifications. But we earlier said the RFQ is just going out and seeking qualifications. There's no money, there's no bidding. So that last sentence should be struck from here, since that's not how we, apparently the FIA does it differently, but we don't, so.
We do, sometimes I've seen it where we have sent out an RFQ if it's a job that is very specific. If it's something very specific that we need done or would like done. So like when we did a new roof on the courthouse, we put out an RFQ for that before we actually put out an RFP.
But you still put out an RFP for the bid.
Correct.
Yeah, and so
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
They have two different meanings.
Yep,
Right.
they do, and there's nothing in here that says that an RFQ is that we solicit and then award bids based on that, so we shouldn't have that language in there. And it's under request or proposal of RFP. The last sentence says, so do you guys, are you gonna amend your motion to strike that sentence?
Yeah, we can amend my motion.
And then the last, second to last one here, the award under number 3, the award is made to the lowest quoted meeting specifications as set forth. I think we should remove that since we want the leeway to not have to choose the lowest. So I think that language should be struck as well.
I'll amend my motion for that too.
And I think that's it. The rest, I would just say, Emily, I can give you this. It's like a couple of, there's an extra LY here and there and ED here and there. So that would just, I would hope that we could amend the motion to clean up any grammar.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll leave my amendment.
thank you.
Support.
Any more discussion?
Thank you for doing that work.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number, let's see, letter I, Human Service Agency Resolution.
Move approval of the resolution.
Support.
Okay. Discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
No.
Oh,
Aye.
oh, yep, I got it. It's a resolution.
It's a resolution.
Yeah.
For Pete's sake.
Nancy's got papers all over there.
Okay, Johnson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Van Genhoven.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
and Melner.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. J, Road Commission Resolution.
Approval of the road commission resolution.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yes. In the third paragraph, it says that the salary of the County Board of Road Commissioners be set between 0 and/or up to 525. Can someone just explain to me what that means? Why is?
The whole paragraph is
Yeah.
confusing.
I don't understand why there's this range.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just don't know, so.
Probably because it's a resolution, so it just gives the board the authority to adjust it. I know we have had the road commission director come to the board before requesting an increase in that, and so it gives that range through the resolution, that the board can change that.
So, okay.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, I understand the portion up to, because, and if they want an increase, like when he came back prior, but they're elected officials, they can't reduce it in their current term any rate, so I don't know
Well, and why
it
doesn't
would
it
be
just
now.
say up to?
Up to,
Why
yeah.
is this between 0 and or? I don't understand that.
The way it
Zero
was
doesn't make
written
any
way
sense.
back when, and I don't think it was ever amended. It was just given that range of 0 to,
Can we just
525.
change it so that it says that the salary of the County Board of Road Commissions be set up to $525 per month as determined by, just get rid of that between 0 and up to?
Is this our resolution or their resolution? Did they write it or did we write it?
I don't know where these resolutions come from.
no, these are our resolutions.
Okay.
Yep,
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
That we weren't like stepping on toes.
no.
Okay.
So what happens on this is if they request a raise on their salary, they usually ask the liaison, and then the liaison comes to the board and says, you know, that they want $50 more a month or whatever. So, and then we either deny them or accept it.
Got it.
Right, but this is saying that,
But as if at 525, I don't know where they're at right now is their monthly salary.
yeah, I have no idea either, but it says up to 525. But it's just really weird for me to see between 0.
Yeah.
What salary do we set at 0? It just is, it doesn't make sense to me, so I would
That-
just strike the between 0.
That might have been when one of the road commissioners said they didn't want to get paid. And so the 0 might have been put in because of that, if I
Okay,
remember right.
well, you can still pay them 0 if it's up to
Yeah, that's true.
525,
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
yeah,
I think he was making a point.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, so where are we? We have-
Okay.
I'll amend my motion to change the language.
just so that it says up to 525.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. We.
Roll call?
Yep.
Williams,
Yes,
Van Genhoven,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Melner,
Yes.
and Jensen.
Yes.
2 J's. Yeah, which J I was on.
Didn't forget you this time. Okay, oh boy.
Motion to
Remonumentation.
accept the remonumentation peer group per diem and millage expense.
oh, support, sorry.
Leave me hanging.
I was looking for it on my,
Okay.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. L,
Motion to authorize the treasurer to record fiscal year 2026 residual equity fund interest earnings in the general fund.
I'll support.
any discussion? Hearing no discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Number 17, the MIDC attorney contract.
We are due, our MIDC contract is due the same as our fiscal year, so October 1, that will be starting fiscal year '26. We still have not gotten our budget ratified yet through the MIDC commission. So you'll see the language in the contracts, because we want to make sure we get these in front of the board before October 1, and then to the attorneys. The only thing different that I did from fiscal year '25 was I didn't put a dollar amount for the services that the attorneys get paid different hourly rates at, because we don't know yet for sure what the rates are going to be set at. There's a very good possibility, in speaking to our MIDC regional manager, that the rates that we have put into the grant are going to be accepted. But until that happens, I didn't want to put that language in here. So the language just reflects that they will be set at what our agreement, our signed agreement for fiscal year '26 will be.
Are we by chance meeting before, do we meet at the end of this month on the 29th?
We do not.
We do not. So the next time we meet, it's in October.
Yep.
They have to follow the grant agreement through MIDC, which is what Appendix 1 in the contract states.
Right, and I asked for Appendix 1 to review it, and I got it at 3:04 this afternoon, so I haven't even had a chance to review it. But I have a lot of comments on this agreement. So I don't, most of them are grammatical, but some are, just referring to the right attorney. There's like 3 separate attorneys that are in this contract. There's the attorney who's under contract, then there's the lead attorney, and then there's attorneys who are under contract who are not contracted under this contract.
Conflict attorneys.
Yeah, and
Correct.
it's
So-
not well-written,
So
so.
we do not have contracts with conflict attorneys. They come and go. We try to get a pool of them that the lead attorney can pull from, but right now that pool is very small because we just don't have a lot of attorneys in the UP. So conflict attorneys, we don't contract with. They only take a case if there is a conflict, or if our current contracted attorneys are going to, like, if there's a conflict with the actual defendant, but if there's a conflict that they're gonna be out of town during court dates, they can't take a new case
Yeah.
coming on, that sort of thing. The lead attorney, we don't wanna put a name in the contracts because that could change mid.
Oh, I'm not saying to put a name, I'm just saying that when you read this contract, at the very beginning, it says herein referred to as attorney with a capital A. That is not carried throughout this contract at all. It's a mix, there's sometimes capital, sometimes not. It refers to lead attorney with a capital sometimes, without a capital. I mean, it's pretty messy to me, so I just wanted to have a lot of stuff cleaned up. But I don't really have any issue with the contract at all. It's a lot of just, it's just minutia. And so maybe what we could do is accept it if we choose to, and then I could give you this and you could take it back to whoever put this together or I don't know who
Sure.
put it together.
Prior administrator.
Okay, so, and maybe just clean up some of this, so that when we refer to the attorney that's under contract in this contract, that it has a capital A with it, so we know that's the attorney that's under contract, because there's a whole bunch of other attorneys that are mentioned, but they're conflict attorney, they're lead attorney, so on.
Licensed attorney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you would be okay with that?
Sure,
And if this
absolutely.
board's okay with that, then we wouldn't have to go through all of this minutia, but it would get cleaned up.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
So,
So motion to approve the contract with a ratification at a later date.
Support.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. 18, keep or cancel October 7th or 12th meeting,
21st.
or 21st.
We have our statutory meeting in October, so we do have 3 meetings. I always put this on the agenda just because I wanted to bring it to the board, to the commissioners. If they choose to cancel one of the meetings, they can. The only one they can't cancel is the statutory meeting.
And what date is that one again?
14th.
14th? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's not the 7th, it's 21st.
As of now, I think we have maybe one item on the agenda for the first meeting, which would be ratification of the airport RFQ. I believe that was in the RFQ for that date. As far as the following meeting after the statutory, we don't have anything on the agenda for that one.
Can we table until the meeting of the 14th and decide?
Sure can.
That would be my motion.
Support.
Say what?
So what he's saying is we'll have the 7th and the 14th, and then at the 14th, we'll decide if we're gonna have the 21st or
Oh,
not.
gotcha.
Yep.
That makes sense, okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Resolution opposing House of Representative FY 26 budget cuts to the county revenue sharing.
This
And what-
resolution was put out through MAC with a request to be on board agendas regarding the House bill.
Approval of resolution.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yes, this was just passed at UpCap as well.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments. One of the things that I've, with this House bill that are sort of misinformation that have been out there, I've been going around to my townships and talking with them. There's been some conversation, I think it came out of MTA, maybe some downstate townships that were telling the townships that all the revenue sharing was being cut with this House bill, and that sent the townships into a complete freaking panic because they have, hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in for revenue sharing. What this bill does is it actually cuts the statutory revenue sharing at the township level, cities and villages, and it leaves in place their constitutional revenue sharing. So if you're a township, let's say you get 180,000 in constitutional revenue sharing, you might get, 2,500 in statutory revenue sharing. So the cut is $2,500. So that's a very big difference, and it has helped folks to know the difference between the two. But it also funds a significant amount of infrastructure, specifically around roads and bridges. And so I think that this bill has a lot of good things in it. I think it does have some cuts that are concerning to folks, but I think it has some good things. Another bit of misinformation that I think, I shouldn't say disinformation, it's like, spinning the narrative, is this cut to Michigan State Police. There is an $88 million cut, but we need to look at why it's cut. And Michigan State Police right now, or MSP, has a vacancy pool of 737 FTEs that are authorized, including 569 vacancies in post operations. That's known. The cut is for the 298 FTEs from the post operations and eliminates 4 FTEs in their training program. These are open positions. They've been open for a very long time. I'm not really sure what that cut means to us locally. I didn't have a chance to follow up on that. But there are cuts to Michigan State Police, which the idea is then that if you cut Michigan State Police, then your sheriff's department is going to have to pick up the slack. But I don't know whether or not at Delta County, our post is actually having any cuts from MSP. So I'm not 100% sure that that's a true statement, that our sheriff's department is going to have additional, stress put on them. Because I just don't know what's being cut at that level. So anyways, I just want to say that I think that this bill has a lot of good to it. I think that it's got some bad. Everything, of course, has pros and cons. But the resolution that was put in front of us makes some pretty sweeping statements that I don't think are all 100% accurate, so.
Okay, which ones aren't, which are sweeping specifically
Well,
that you
for
don't
instance,
find
number
accurate?
3, whereas the House of Representatives version of fiscal year 2026 state budget proposes 34.9 million reduction in county statutory revenue sharing, wiping out long overdue progress, blah, blah, blah. From a county perspective, from our county's perspective, that's $20,000. But it sets sort of this fear that, oh my God, we're going to be cut by millions. But it's $20,000. So it's just.
Which is impactful. I mean.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Considering that,
Of course.
we wanted to, I had pushed to put, some kind of streaming services in here, and I think it was, $2,800, and that was considered a large expense to everybody. So I would say $20,000 is a large reduction for us.
Right, but then you have to look at what are we getting though? And the road commission is getting a significant millions, hundreds of millions more to fund infrastructure. So there's a give and a take with everything, right? So I'm just saying that I believe this House bill has good points, and I think it has some bad points, but I don't see it as being a fully negative impact for all of Delta County. I think the townships are not going to suffer by this that much. And that, yes, the county is gonna have some more, because the county doesn't have constitutional revenue sharing. They only have statutory revenue sharing, which of course allows lawmakers to dip into it when, there's issues. But we have to look at what we're getting also. And I look at some of the infrastructure costs as being pretty significant. And I think that if we position ourselves well with the road commission and make sure we have shovel-ready projects to go on day one if this thing passes, that those funds can offset some costs that we might have elsewhere.
Well,
So,
sure, and I'm not saying that it has to be one over the other, it could be both.
What can be both?
Well, why do we have to cut $20,000 from our budget so that the road commission can get more?
I'm not saying we have to, I'm
Well,
just
but
saying
you're
that.
arguing against each other. You're arguing that the impact of $20,000 less for us isn't as impactful as the positiveness of the road commission, but they could choose not to cut the revenue sharing and fund the road commission.
Absolutely, and that's
Okay.
why in that
That's why I'm
case,
saying it doesn't have to be one or the other, it's not pie.
yeah, you can. And
Yeah.
if you, this has just passed the House, so it needs to go to the Senate. So I would suggest if you have ideas about how to improve it even more or change it, talk to Senator McBroom. That's the way to,
Representative McBroom.
pardon me?
Representative.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
New senator, new senator.
Senator,
What did I thought I said.
Yeah,
That's what I
I was
thought I
thinking
said.
Preston.
so
Oh,
just, so.
He's already passed it.
For discussion,
Yeah.
for discussion's sake, Senator McBroom and Representative Preston were at the last UPCAP meeting to give a legislative update, and they basically just echoed what Commissioner Williams said as far as, it did pass the House, it does have to go through the Senate, see where it's gonna be. And I think, to quote Mr. McBroom, he said, hopefully the budget will be passed by September 35th. And so, he wasn't too, he was thinking that it was gonna get done, but the ink wouldn't be dry by October 1st. So that's where we stand at this point, but this was passed through UPCAP, and I know that there were other, counties looking to sign on to this as well.
Okay, any more discussion?
Yeah, just last, I'm not, because I don't oppose, this, particular revenue, or this particular, bill. I'm not opposed to it. I think it has improvements, absolutely, and I will be expressing what I think those improvements can be. But I'm not opposing it. I just, if this is modified a little bit, I think it'd be better, but I'm not, I'm fine with it as it is, so.
Okay, roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Van Genhoven,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Melner,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Williams.
No.
Okay, that one passed. General public comment. Commissioner Williams, anything?
No, there's nothing on here.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Kacharny, and I am the chairperson of the Delta County Department of Veterans Affairs Advisory Board. I want to thank you all for your continued dedication and support of everything we are trying to accomplish on behalf of the veterans of our county. My fellow board members and I have been very diligent and dedicated to our positions and look forward to continued service to our fellow brothers and sister veterans of Delta County and our nation. Our board, which is filled by 5 very strong and independent veterans from across the county, communicate exceptionally well and look forward to working with the newly appointed department director for years to come. During the review of all applicants for the department director, a thorough review was conducted and discussion had on the applicants by the board. Several applicants were heavily discussed in hopes they will apply for the open BSO position here in the county. After all the applicants were reviewed and discussed, a unanimous decision was made by the board to recommend Dave DeXavier to the county administrator to be hired into the director's position. We want to personally thank everyone who showed interest and applied to the department director's position. We also want to thank you, our county commissioners. the county clerk's office, the county administrator's office for their support and confidence you have placed in all of us. I know it's been a long journey to get us to this position, but now that we are here, up and running, I know that we will be able to do fantastic things for the veterans of Delta County. It's the least we can do for those who have sacrificed so much for our nation. So on behalf of us and the board, really, thank you all for everything that you guys have allowed us to do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Any other public comment? Seeing none? We go on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Johnson,
No comment.
Commissioner Williams.
No comment.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes, I'd just like to take a moment to thank our administrator for putting together a budget that we were able to approve. I know it was short timing for you, and I appreciate all your hard work. I would also like to thank the UPCAP CEO, Jonathan Mead, for his work in the upcoming UPACC conference. He was able to take ideas from many of the different county commissioners in order to have a very wide range of topics for us to discuss at the conference in October. And good luck to the UP Honor Flight people tomorrow. I hope the fog doesn't get them like it usually does in September. So keep our fingers crossed for them.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yeah, two items. First one is the fair, actually sat down with our emergency manager yesterday. We did kind of like an after-action review, a wrap-up of the new emergency plan that we had put in place for this year's fair. Things that worked well, things that didn't work well, some of them that we know we can improve on, and there's already stuff in motion to improve those going into next year. I mentioned with the AEDs.
Oh, you can.
Okay. The park and recreation is actually looking at purchasing 2 AEDs. One of them will be at Fuller and one of them will be at Pioneer Park. I'm looking at pursuing grant funding for those. There's one other one that's coming up I wanted to mention. It's called the E-Rail. And for those that don't know, they just had their ribbon cutting for it at the fair. The E-Rail actually stands for Emergency Response to Accidents Involving Livestock and Hands-On for Animals. The training that's coming up, let's see, October 1st. There's a fee for it. It's really designed for law enforcement and our first responders out there. There is actually a trailer. It's actually kept a little bit north of here in the event that we have an accident involving livestock. It was one of the lessons learned from the flooding they had out east, that they had no way to move animals around after. So this is the training on that program for those first responders.
Nancy,
Nothing for me, thank you.
administrator?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, I went just last night to the Brampton Township and meeting, and they had a couple of good things going on. They tried to get a grant from the DNR, and you get a total of 450 points, and they fell about 185 points. So by talking to them and everything else, and what their discussion was, is they're gonna stop the grant and just do it on their own, start putting up a new playground, so. Yeah, so they're gonna be looking for, help to put it together and do it on their own. Cause they wanna get it done for next year. So that was pretty good. If anybody didn't know, the administrator of the road commission, he is going to be retiring. His last, I think it's sometime in November. Yeah. Yep, Jody's retiring.
Yep.
So I know they've been doing interviews for a new administrator. I think they had 5 applicants, and they are going forward with that. So, that's about all I have. Oh, let's see here, meeting schedule.
You got this, John.
Yeah,
We're almost done.
yep. It's been a long one. Board of Commissioners meeting on 10/7/25. The statutory board meeting will be on 10/14. And the regular board meeting on 10/21. 30-day notices of appointments, there is none. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. And we're already.